So let's make the most of it. Slogans associated with the club is honouring the past and inspiring the future, because the idea is it's such an amazing engineering achievement.
Yes, absolutely. It's being used to promote British engineering expertise. And indeed, as I was saying just before she arrived, we've got 2 years or about 18 months left flying. She will come to the end of her flying life at the end of next year. And that's because Rolls-Royce won't sanction the engines past the end of 2015, so we run out of engine life on the flight. But the idea is that she will then be maintained in a fast taxiable state and used as I say, to inspire youngsters to go into engineering. She was designed by Roy Chadwick, the same design team that designed the Lancaster, and when you think that there's only 12 years between the two aircraft, that shows you how technology moved on during that time.
And that Delta wing also made famous, of course, by Concorde. I remember seeing somebody do some 3D graphics on TV showing that if you actually stretch the Delta wing of the Vulcan, it looks very similar to Concorde.
Yes, absolutely. The engineering director of the project has actually put a slide together in the presentations he uses.
Power. So you were just saying about the presentation.
Yes, if you were to put a stake in each end of the wings and then stretch the fuselage by about 2.7 times, you actually get a shape that looks extremely like Concorde. And of course the Vulcan airframe was actually used as a test bed for the version of the Olympus engine that actually powered Concorde. So both aircraft powered by Olympus, but of course different versions, because Concorde was supersonic with reheat.
So I think as she comes round now, we'll see her in the landing configuration with the undercarriage down. Wow. We talked about the autogyro being a star of a James Bond film. Of course, the Vulcan was as well, famously in the original Thunderball movie with Sean Connery, where one of these was tragically put down in the water.
Yes, and there is, if you go on the hangar tour at Doncaster, Robin Hood Airport, formerly known as RAF Finley, which is XH558 home base. A model there that was actually used during the filming of the James Bond film.
So how many would be?
Yes, crew of 3 today. The 2 pilots, Phil Ramsey is captain today, Kevin Rubens is the co-pilot, and also on board there is an air electronics officer, which in old speak would have been called a flight engineer. The aircraft doesn't use navigators anymore because they navigate using Garmin sat-nav.
And having been inside the aircraft, it's amazing just how cramped everything is, and particularly the flight deck. It could almost be the flight deck of a fighter. It's you climb up to where the pilot and co-pilot sit, and there's not really much room for anything else. It's not like the flight deck. There we are. We see the bomb bay doors open there.
Yes, the massive bomb bay there, which was designed to accommodate the nuclear weapon of the time, because of course the V-Force was the UK's nuclear deterrent until 1969 when it passed over to the Royal Navy submarines.
Yes, and in those days the Vulcans were painted white for anti-radiation flare, flash protection, and it was only once the deterrent had moved back to the submarines that they had the camouflage scheme there for the low-level bombing requirement.
Yes, the camouflage scheme actually came in slightly earlier, and it was because the mission profile changed from high level down to low level attack after the famous Gary Powers incident when the U-2 spy plane was shot down, because height was no longer your safety net with surface-to-air missiles.
It's amazing just how manoeuvrable the aircraft is, and wonderful to see it manoeuvrable, turning so tightly at such low level.
Yes, the crew that operated the Vulcan in service that turned the fighter in situations such as even it wasn't really until the latest generation of US fighters like the F-15 Eagle, F-16 fighting Falcon, whereby a fighter could actually outturn the Vulcan. It is very maneuverable for such large aircraft.
So we know that the aircraft will still be displaying next year, and then that really is the end, is it?
At the moment, that is the official line. Just look at that turn now. Sheer power of those Olympus people are in the air at that point. So yes, next year, as we were discussing, should be the last year of flight. The Trust keep lobbying Rolls-Royce to try and get them to allow more hours on the engines that we have on the project, but so far they're not budging, unfortunately. The engines were new in 2007. They were 0 hours by Rolls-Royce, but they've only allowed us in the order of 250 hours per engine, and we have 6 on the project. Four in the airframe at one time and 2 spares.
We're now in from the right for its final fly past. Let's all sit back and enjoy the sound of it and the sight that it presents, and give them all a big wave. Fed up with watching them, doesn't he?
Not at all. It's actually the first time I've seen her live this year, so much looking forward to today. And again, we should see her, or personally I should see her at Little Cranston on Sunday when she's doing a fly past there on her way back to Finley from Dunsfold, Wings and Wheels. But no, I'll never get tired of seeing the Vulcan at all.
No, indeed. My tongue was firmly in my cheek when I said that. A fantastic sight and sound. We hope that you all enjoyed that. And if you missed it today, unlucky, because she's not back here tomorrow. So I hope that Mr. Jack LeWarn, the Vulcan bomber pilot from the Cold War, was able to get out of the VIP tent in time to watch that display. Yes, a wonderful round of applause. And you can also help to keep this aircraft flying by going along and seeing Barry and his colleagues at the